Alright, welcome back to another episode here on our WWE 2K19 Universe Mode. I am, of course, Dominic here on the Bad Wrestling channel, and making his way to the ring, it is King Booker. Now, after the shocking return of Tommaso Ciampa, costing Johnny Gargano the WWE title at last night's pay-per-view Super Showdown, how will King Booker respond to the WWE Universe? Everybody, I'm not out here as your usually happy king. I came out here expecting to have a grand and exciting announcement for you all, but I'm ashamed of the actions of one man, Tommaso Ciampa. Earlier today, I got an email from him. In this email, he explained that he was the masked attacker all along. He told me that next week he'll explain his actions via satellite and explain just why he has decided to ruin not only title matches, not only the mindset of Johnny Gargano, but his connection with all of you. Now, let me make things perfectly clear, Ciampa. You work for Monday Night Raw. You work for me. So at the next pay-per-view, I'm booking you in a match. You will fight Johnny Gargano and Shinsuke Nakamura in a triple threat match. No disqualifications, no countouts. Just you three fighting out your differences. Now, on to more uplifting news. That pay-per-view will see the return of something that I hold very near dear to my heart. As your king, I've decided to bring back a tournament that I used to skyrocket my career into legendary status. Starting tonight, we will begin the return of the King of the Ring tournament. Not only that, but as your king, I will include myself in this tournament, and my matchup will be held in next week's main event. Well, everybody, massive news coming from our Raw General Manager. We will watch as the King of the Ring tournament comes back over to Monday Night Raw and to WWE. That's right, it's going to be a cross-promotion pay-per-view, cross-brand pay-per-view, the King of the Ring tournament. So it'll be a cross-branded tournament between Raw and SmackDown. Huge news from our general manager, King Booker. However, we move on to a singles match between one of these three men, the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. These three lost against The Shield at the Super Showdown pay-per-view. However, one trend we kind of saw throughout the matchup was Bobby Fish and Dean Ambrose battling each other. So, we will watch here tonight as Bobby Fish battles against Dean Ambrose once again in singles competition. Now, speaking of that King of the Ring tournament, as King Booker just announced, we are not going to be seeing any King of the Ring qualifying matches on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Okay, King Booker's main event matchup next week will signify the first match for Monday Night Raw in terms of the King of the Ring tournament, which should be very exciting. I am very excited to watch the King of the Ring tournament. I've always personally loved the King of the Ring tournaments, and I bet one man who does love the King of the Ring tournament as well is Dean Ambrose, as he's rocking the Shield attire still. As he makes his way to the ring, Ambrose set to take on Bobby Fish. Okay, the two lunatic fringes, I guess you could say, of their respective tag teams, of their respective factions. As we get into it now, the bell is officially rung. Bobby Fish, Dean Ambrose, the match has officially started, and then Bobby Fish immediately out of the gate, going right after Dean Ambrose. Now, however, Ambrose turns it around on him, knocks him down. Now, this isn't going to be much of a, I guess you could say, traditional wrestling matchup. No, I feel like this is going to be a fight. These two love to do their strikes, like that knee to the face of Ambrose. However, Ambrose answers it back with a bit of a headbutt, goes for the clothesline, ducks underneath into a running splash of Bobby Fish. as Ambrose now getting the strikes by Bobby Fish here tonight in this opening matchup. Later on tonight, we will see in the main event Drew McIntyre take on Dolph Ziggler. That's going to be a hell of a matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Dolph Ziggler losing at last night's Super Showdown pay-per-view, quite like how the Undisputed Era lost at that same pay-per-view. However, the Undisputed Era, and there you see the cockiness of Bobby Fish, the Undisputed Era, when they lost, it wasn't for a championship. Okay, and Dean Ambrose, sorry to hold that thought, but Dean Ambrose trying to strike back here, however, reversed into a knee by Bobby Fish, and Bobby Fish seems to be pretty much dominating the early parts of this matchup here on Monday Night Raw, as Bobby Fish kicked to the spine there. But as I was saying, the United States Championship was on the line between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. The Miz shocking the world, defeating Dolph Ziggler with his own maneuvers. So ladies and gentlemen, The Miz, okay, he's still your United States Champion. Dolph Ziggler, he's a pissed off man. However, he was so pissed off after the match, he low-blowed the champion after a big loss, as Dean Ambrose knocks Bobby Fish on his ass by throwing him into the ropes. And now Ambrose trying to regain some control here. One member of the Shield, the cover one. No, only a 1 count there, and Fish and Dean still battle it out in Monday Night Raw's opening contest, as Ambrose with the strikes there, kicking him in the face, reversed. Bobby Fish, oh look at this, goes for it, oh and it connects! Knocking the socks off there of Dean Ambrose. Bobby Fish, big roundhouse kick, and then into a stomp on the elbow there, trying to bend the elbow back, potentially trying to make it more difficult for those right hand shots to land on Dean Ambrose, as those knees to the knee of Dean Ambrose, shaking the camera. That's how devastating they were, as the crowd trying to gain Dean Ambrose a win here, trying to help him out here tonight. Now, something peculiar I have noticed is Ambrose has come out here alone, as trying to go for the sequence, but no, reverse into an elbow. Ambrose gets thrown across the ring, ducks underneath. Bobby Fish does, however, gets bounced off there, and now Dean Ambrose trying to go for that sequence here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That sequence that has changed the tide of so many of Dean Ambrose's matches there, as the Bulldog connects. And Dean Ambrose trying to fight here tonight, grabbing Bobby Fish here, 1/3 of the Undisputed Era. Ambrose 1/3 of the Shield, however, elbow connects into the clothesline there, and Dean Ambrose comes back and hits hard, and the crowd's behind him here tonight. Now, something peculiar I have noticed, and there you see Kyle O'Reilly, is that the Undisputed Era, all 3 of them are out here, but Dean Ambrose, 1/3 of the Shield, has decided to come out here alone. Very peculiar, considering at the Super Showdown pay-per-view, a lot of weird, suspicious things happen there, during the matchup. However, right now, maybe this matchup will end, as Dean Ambrose connects there with the Dirty Deeds to cover, and oh, Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly distracting the referee, and Ambrose, he just goes right back to attacking on Bobby Fish. Okay, and that distraction might have saved Bobby Fish the matchup. However, Dean Ambrose kicking off Bobby Fish off the knee bar, and this fight continues as Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly watches on as Bobby Fish elbow to the face, and then, oh, look at that, Bobby Fish gets a thumb to the eye. Fish now on the outside here on Monday Night Raw's opening matchup. Like I said, Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler later on tonight. Not going to want to miss it, as now throws Bobby Fish like a carcass back onto the apron. But yeah, interesting, considering, the Super Showdown shenanigans that happened during that matchup with the 6-man tag team between the Shield and the Undisputed Era. Sure, the Shield still won, however, things like Seth Rollins missing a suicide dive, hitting Dean Ambrose. And then Roman Reigns doing something similar, hitting Dean Ambrose as well. Of course, both by accident. I don't believe that they purposely tried to sabotage Dean Ambrose in any way. However, Dean Ambrose deciding to come out here alone when he knows that all three of the Undisputed Era members are going to be here during the singles matchup is very interesting. Indeed, as Ambrose trying to crank the neck of Bobby Fish. As Ambrose could be setting up here, waiting for him to get up, goes for it. Reverse there by Bobby Fish, and Fish, look at this! Fish has him in another knee bar, however this time a rope break. And this match continuing. Bobby Fish off a knee bar, 1, 2, but a kick out there nonetheless by Dean Ambrose. Cole and O'Reilly watching. Bobby Fish, typically not a man who does the singles action in Undisputed Era. Typically it's Adam Cole who performs singles action based matches, okay? Typically Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, stick together as a unit in a tag team matchup. So it's pretty interesting that Fish trying to prove himself against Dean Ambrose here tonight in this matchup in a singles capacity. As Ambrose now has him in a headlock, trying to show the dominance of Dean Ambrose, trying to show the complete control of Dean Ambrose. The lunatic fringe now. Trying to maybe even rip the head off of Bobby Fish. Fish gets up, however, ducks underneath, into a clothesline by Dean. And Ambrose back on the attack, kicks him in the stomach. Waits for him to get up and then stomps the chest of Fish there on Monday Night Raw. Now the referee telling Dean Ambrose, get down, you're getting crazy. And I think Dean Ambrose knows it. Fish getting up. And Ambrose now hits the lunatic fringe elbow. He hits the elbow from the top turnbuckle. The cover, 1. No, only a 1 count. And the fight continues. But how much more can these two men take? And Bobby Fish just gets up from a kick and now catches him. Drops him on the knee again. Seeming like one of the go-to moves of Bobby Fish there. However, Ambrose trying to fight back, and look at this, the anger, the pure striking by Ambrose. And the punches connect, and now rattling the head of Bobby Fish there. And Ambrose picks him up. Could be going here. A fisherman suplex on the Fish, Bobby Fish, and it connects. Ambrose now staring at him here, and then once again just battering the head of Bobby Fish. And look at Adam Cole trying to distract both the referee, and I do believe he's trying to distract Dean Ambrose as well. He looks at him and then stomps on Bobby Fish, his abdomen there, his stomach. As Fish now, however, gets tucked underneath, and Dean Ambrose catching him into a huge neck breaker there. And Adam Cole, might be witnessing a little bit of a desperation tactic by Adam Cole. Dean Ambrose going for the lunatic going for the DDT, I should say. However, Bobby Fish drops him down onto the leg again. Look at this, trying to wear down the leg with another form of a knee bar. Okay, but a desperation play by Adam Cole. The chair is now in the middle of the ring. The referee barely, I don't even think he's noticed it yet, goes for a rolling elbow. However, the referee distracting. However, Bobby Fish gets up, goes after him here, gets a punch to the stomach. And now the strikes. The referee still watching as Fish and Dean fight. And the referee, thank God, moving the chair out of the way. But how much of a distraction was that to Dean Ambrose, knowing that that steel chair could be used on him? As now off the top into a, oh my God, right to the legs. Knees to knees, it looks like. As Ambrose still battling here against Fish. Here on Monday Night Raw in our 2K19 universe mode. And Dean Ambrose looking at him here, wrenching on the throat and chin area of Bobby Fish. Pulls him to the middle of the ring, rolls him over. Goes for a cover here tonight. 1, 2, no! Fish still in the fight somehow, some way. Dean Ambrose, I feel like it might just take one more DDT for him to win. However, Fish claps him in the hand. And then into a big, exploding clothesline there by Fish. And Fish now picks up Ambrose, picks up the lunatic friends, throws him into the corner. And Bobby Fish, however, gets a big kick to the face by Dean. And this fight continues as a headbutt connects. However, the strikes the striking combination by Bobby Fish that he's known for. The striking repertoire and the strikes that Bobby Fish lands are hard and unique. However, Dean Ambrose goes simple. Okay, kicks him in the chest, but effective. Simple, but effective. Absolutely. However, Fish kicks out again. Kick to the spine there. Here on Monday Night Raw's opening matchup. And Fish now goes for a maneuver. Reversed there by Dean. And Dean Ambrose, however, gets a combination again. And the help of the Undisputed Era so far in this match, I feel like has been definitely appreciated. However, Bobby Fish looking at Dean Ambrose. Here it could be signaling for the beginning of the end. Middle of the ring. Dean Ambrose is down. Ambrose is down here. And he has to tap. Dean Ambrose choosing to come out here by himself does not pay off. And Dean Ambrose losing here tonight in this one-on-one competition. This brawl that we saw here tonight. And there you see Fish, your winner, as we move on to the main event here tonight. And there we go, main event about to kick off here tonight. Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. Dolph Ziggler, the most recent #1 contender for the United States champion, losing his spot on the card and losing his shot at the championship. Losing to The Miz a few nights, or last night I should say, at the Super Showdown pay-per-view. We move on, main event, Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre. What a fight this is going to be. Now, Drew McIntyre feels like he needs to prove himself. Dolph Ziggler needs to prove himself after a big loss from The Miz, kicking him in the nuts after the matchup. Okay, not a very respectful maneuver by Dolph Ziggler. However, who's ever said that Dolph Ziggler has respect for anybody? As Drew McIntyre, a absolute future champion. That's a guarantee, ladies and gentlemen. Drew McIntyre here tonight, the big Scotsman. And there you see him. Main event matchup. Now Drew McIntyre, he's kind of been on the back burner of our entire series thus far in our Season 2 of our Universe mode in 2K19, okay? Drew McIntyre, he's been up and down. He's been very much up and down. At WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre beat his first ever matchup in a ring in WWE, making his huge return to WWE ever since this, career resurgence. And ever since then, he was hired back to Monday Night Raw after defeating Samoa Joe, the man who just lost his SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship title. However, there you see Drew screaming like a battle cry, ready for war. Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler. Drew McIntyre, the total package, but Dolph Ziggler, I think many people could say the same thing about him. And there you go, the show-off versus the fighter. Let's get into it. Monday Night Raw. The crowd on their feet. It is the Zigzag versus the Claymore. Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. And look at this, trying to lift up the big man. But Dolph Ziggler, might not have the strength to do it into a big clothesline. And Ziggler, look at this, rolls to the outside. And it doesn't matter, and just pounces on him. Pouncing on Dolph Ziggler there, Drew McIntyre. Here tonight, gets a clothesline, however. And the match here tonight, the main event of the evening. Both men have something to prove. Drew McIntyre, definite future world champion. Dolph Ziggler wants to prove that he can be a world champion, as these two now trading blows. Trading big strikes. Drew McIntyre on the up and up here, throws him to the out, or Dolph Ziggler rolls to the outside, I should say. And Ziggler potentially choosing to leave here tonight, it looks like, here on Monday Night Raw. Ziggler looking at Drew here on Raw. However, look, it's The Miz punching him in the face Throws him back into the ring. Is this even allowed? Referee, I guess the referee is allowing it here. And Drew McIntyre, taking full advantage, goes after Dolph. The referee, I guess, realizing, hey, you know, one punch isn't going to kill you, especially after the blows being traded by Dolph and Drew a few seconds ago as a powerbomb connects. And now Drew McIntyre, the big man, gets thrown down by Dolph Ziggler. And this fight, this war here tonight, continuing, slap to the back of the head. Dolph gets, Drew McIntyre throws him into the corner. However, Drew McIntyre into a clothesline reverse. Ducked underneath, catches him, then trips him up there into the ropes, stomping the leg there, and now Drew McIntyre, perhaps with the assist of The Miz, continuing this fight and trying to show more dominance. Look at him flexing, literally flexing on Dolph Ziggler, throws him up and then takes him down at the top rope there. And then a headbutt there connects by Drew McIntyre. However, a kick to the stomach reversed. And then a chop. Oh, a chop takes him down. And now Drew McIntyre, there you see, just pounding away at the show-off Dolph Ziggler. And now a kick to the stomach. And, trying to hit the shots there. And that one definitely landed. And Ziggler goes after Drew here. In this one-on-one brawl. This one-on-one fight as a Stinger Splash connects. Okay, Dolph Ziggler trying to escape early on. However, he can't escape from this. Oh, and connects the Future Shock DDT. The cover 1, 2. But a kick out there by Dolph. The war rage is on here on Monday Night Raw. Goes for an elbow miss. Into a chop to the chest. And now, slapping the back there. Jesus, you can hear it from a mile away. As the pure strikes by Drew McIntyre continues on Dolph Ziggler. As Ziggler, however, once again getting the punches to the head over and over again. And then a kick to the abdomen. And now right to the face there, right to the chin. And, out of nowhere! Famous Sir connects! And now, getting up here, Dolph Ziggler, however, Drew McIntyre knows exactly what was about to happen as now connects there with the Bulldog. The crowd here tonight watching, cheering for this fight that they are loving to see here on Monday Night Raw, the main event. And Ziggler gets up into the Claymore kick. And the cover 1, 2, 3, and perhaps with the help of the United States Champion, Drew McIntyre defeats Dolph Ziggler here tonight. There you see, connects there by Drew McIntyre. And that's where I thought the match was about to end there. That's where I thought it could have been over. However, Dolph Ziggler kicked out. Ziggler famouser out of nowhere. Admittedly there. However, Dolph Ziggler throughout this entire fight showing off a little bit too much, trying to be an impressive superstar, and he was. However, Drew McIntyre just a bit more impressive, a bit more tough in our main event. With the help, perhaps with the help of The Miz, making sure that Dolph Ziggler does not leave the arena, Drew McIntyre defeats Dolph Ziggler. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our episode of Monday Night Raw. That's the end of this episode here. If you guys like it, please let me know by hitting the like button down below. Comment anything you want to comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. But if you have, why not hit the bell to be notified of everything we do here on the Bad Wrestling channel. I am, of course, Dominic, and have a good day from Bad Wrestling. Bye-bye. Yo.